Hello, how are you guys doing? Thank you for joining us. This is the Black Arizona Podcast. And you know what we do here, but if you don't, like most of the listeners, most of the viewers, they come to us looking to know more about the culture that's going on in Arizona. And what we like to do is we like to introduce you to the people who are pushing the initiatives that are really about us, that are helping us, that are pushing the conversation forward on us. And today is no exception. I got my guy here. I'm going to let him introduce himself. He's going to tell you a bit about himself and how you can connect with him, his business, and his product. And I think you're in for a treat today. So who do I have with me?
Absolutely. Thank you, Earl. My name's Ethan Turner. I'm a perfumer here in the Valley. I actually studied perfumery in France. After studying over there, I came back to the States, started building fragrances for brands all across North America. I've got about 19 brands. We're trying to close one to make it 20 that I supply fragrance for, all the way down from the boxes, the bottles, the labels. We make the juice, everything.
Nice.
So we're based here in Arizona, but we can supply the world with what we have to offer.
Wow.
So.
How can they connect with you? What social medias or what platforms are you on right now?
Yeah, so we've got Instagram and I've got Facebook. Those are the main two places to connect with me. I'm going to be launching a new fragrance here in Arizona at the Andaz Scottsdale Resort, June 6th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. That company is called Empyrean Parfums. So you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook under Empyrean Parfums. That's going to be happening pretty soon. I guess we're less than a month out now.
Yeah, it's coming up pretty soon. But being a regular person as myself, I don't know what a parfum is. Can you explain to me that word? That it sounds interesting, but
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So in French, parfum just means fragrance. It just means something that you smell. So whenever someone says perfume, it's a little bit different than parfum. And when we're talking about the different levels and grades of a parfum, it gets even more complex because I think some people might be familiar with eau de parfum, eau de toilette, eau de cologne, things like that. But can break that down too a little bit later on. So.
Okay, all right. There's levels to this. There's big levels to this. But with that, how did you get started in your journey of creating and making fragrance your passion, your thing that you do?
Yeah, so I've always been an entrepreneur. I think I started off, my first business was in like the 3rd grade. I was selling origami to kids at school. 6th grade, I was selling chips and candy. I was the snack plug. By the time I got to high school, I started my first nonprofit. When I got to college, I started a tech company. We built one of the first live streaming apps. Like I always tell people, if you remember the brown Instagram and how ugly that was, there was no video, it was just pictures and images, and you used to scroll through and look at it. Facebook was like, Ethan is ... So we built a live streaming app back then. That's what brought me to Arizona. So when I was trying to figure that out, hustle through it, we were competing. Another company ended up buying one of our competitors. Twitter bought our competitor for like $800 million.
Okay.
Put us out of business immediately. Can't compete with that, right? So I ended up going into the restaurant industry, and I became a sommelier after a few years, so a wine expert.
Okay.
I want to say around the pandemic, I knew I wanted out. I was like, I want to do something different. This is great, but like, I know I'm destined for more than just serving people in restaurants, giving them wine. I loved it, don't get me wrong, but I knew I needed to do something different. So I was looking for a new career path or something to get into with my nose, because in order to be a wine expert, you gotta have a pretty good nose and a pretty good palate. So I found myself looking for a fragrance for me to wear, something that I could like wear to a job interview, or, something that I could wear that was kind of like representative of this new version of Ethan.
Yeah.
Searched Nordstrom's, Macy's, online, could not find what I was looking for. So I sat down and said, I'm sitting across from my homeboy Emeka, and I'm like, you know what? I can't do this. I'm just going to build it myself. He literally looks over my laptop and he goes, if you build one for you, will you build one for me and I'll pay you for it?
Oh,
and
wow.
Immediately I was like, it's time to get back into entrepreneur mode.
Yeah.
So started ordering fragrances online, or like little perfume oils is what they were called. So fragrance oils, started ordering those in, started mixing and blending. Literally the next day, got stuff same day from Amazon. All of it was garbage. I love everything that I built. Anyone that bought anything from me at that time, I appreciate you. You guys were awesome. But I knew, well, let me phrase that. I know now that what I was building then just was not up to par.
Yeah.
Everyone loved what I built though. So I felt supported. I felt like encouraged. to continue to build. People were buying fragrances off of just like conversations with me, building one of a kind custom scents for people.
Yeah.
So I want to say after about a year of doing that, I had about 300 fragrances that I'd built for friends, for family, people on Instagram. And I had the same guy, same Mecca, reach out to me and go, look, man, I have a fashion brand. Would you ever consider doing it for a business? I said, maybe, we'll see. I don't know. I can try.
Yeah.
So I'll be your first customer if you do it. Always my first customer. Love that, man. So I said,
Loyalty.
let's do it. Built my first package for him. By that point, I had a little bit more renown in the fragrance industry. And it got featured in Ask Men magazine. It got featured in Perfumery and Flavorist, which is one of the largest like fragrance magazines. And I was like, I can do this. Like this could be the career path I was looking for.
Yeah.
So a couple other brands reached out, some larger names, asking like, we've seen your stories, we've seen your Instagram posts. Are you a manufacturer? Are you legit? I said, I don't know what I'm doing still. I'm still figuring some things out, but I never said no.
Yeah.
So fast forward maybe 6 months later, I'm out on a trip to Paris with a friend. And while I'm there visiting, I go out to the top school in perfumery in France and possibly in the world.
Yeah.
I go by and I'm like, I just want to visit. I set up this meeting to just tour the campus. I get there and immediately on site they go, Ethan Turner? I said, that's me. And they're like, we've been waiting for you. So excited to have you here. We tour the campus. When we get done, they go, how would you like to come to ISIPCA? And I said, well, I don't know. Like, it's an honor to come, but I got to get accepted. I got to get in. And I'm not a chemist and blah, blah, blah. And they go, no, we want to fast track you through an executive education program. You go through that with us. We're going to, take out any kind of admissions. We've seen your work. We know that you're a perfumer. We'd love to have you here. So that next summer, saved up money, got support from friends to go, lived in Paris for that summer, lived in Barcelona for a little bit, or I guess I lived in Versailles, and then Grasse is the capital of perfumery. I lived there, came back, hired an assistant, and we started just moving on working with just brands only. So
wow.
While over there, I realized it's time for me to launch my own brand.
Yeah.
I built fragrances, told everyone else's story but my own. And so that's what Empyrean is.
That's awesome. Like, It seemed as though when you felt the need to shift inside of yourself. And then when you seen the opportunity and you got confirmation from your friend right there, then you were like, all right, cool. This is my path. And once you chose that, then the doors really started opening.
Yes. I always reference this. There's this TED talk and it's called like, it's important to be a leader, but the most important person is the second follower. And so when you're leading, they kind of show this phenomena that happens at some concert that's going on. And one guy starts dancing by himself. I don't know if you've seen the TED talk, but he's dancing by himself and nobody else is dancing with him. And then suddenly, you'd think he'd get defeated. Like, okay, you're dancing kind of funny. Everybody else is sitting down. And one person joins in and they start dancing. And then maybe 5 seconds later, 5 more people, and then 10 more people, and then 100 people. And then the whole concert is dancing. And the premise is like, you want to figure out who you can get to be your first follow, your first person to say, I want to help you grow. And that's always been my homeboy Mecca. There's other people in my friend group that have always been there for me for that. So there's something to say about that confirmation, even if it's an internal friend.
100%. And shout out Omeka.
Yeah.
Shout out Omeka for doing your thing and supporting your friend. That's what got him here today, as well as his grind, his commitment to the changing process of entrepreneurship. That's amazing, for one. The story that you have, and it seems like the experiences that you were able to, have throughout the time, like, for one, are amazing. Like, you went out of the country and you brought that back, and now you're launching a fragrance here in Arizona. But how did this specific fragrance, like, what fragrance are you launching and how did it come to be?
Yeah, so Empyrean Parfums is, I'm religious, I'm Christian. So throughout kind of the duration of my life, I've kind of struggled back and forth with religion as a whole. I went to school, and when I was in school for my undergrad, I took a class that was really, really eye-opening, and we studied all of the different religions that were based in Iowa, where I went to Drake University. So we studied all of the different religions that were based there, and I started seeing so many similarities between Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Taoism. And I started wondering, like, am I in the right faith? Am I doing the right things? And I remember moving out here and kind of struggling with that. And when I was in Paris, there was a ton of that going on.
Yeah.
So I was journaling every day. I was going through some personal things, and I really wanted to just document that. So I wrote a ton of haiku, and those haiku eventually became a book that I wrote and published recently. And those haiku became the impetus for launching this fragrance line. So they're all of the creation stories of humanity through different religions. And then I express those through perfumery. So we're talking about the first one that's coming out, which is Gaia. Gaia's Mother Earth, Mother Nature, as many people know. And this is going to be an earth-based fragrance, very fresh. There's some floral. You get some jasmine, some rose. There's some sandalwood, a little bit of apple in there to represent the apple of Eden. So very, very much based on the story of Gaia.
Nice. Honestly, it's the way that you're saying that this came to be. It sounds natural from your journey, and it looks like you've also embodied a bit of the religious tones in the logo too. Can you speak a bit about that and how that came to be?
Absolutely. So the logo for Gaia is actually a tree, and it's a two-sided tree. So if you look at it from one side, you see the roots going into the ground. If you flip it around, you'll still see the roots going into the ground. But at the same time, you see the branches. So it's a barren tree, but the idea is that it's supposed to embody a barren tree of life.
Yeah.
And so it's the idea for me that I have so much more growing, so much more opportunity ahead of me as I continued throughout this process to study and understand what I do believe in, which eventually came back into Christianity. This barren kind of tree of life resprouted. So that's what you're supposed to experience as well through the fragrance.
Wow. So that fragrance packs a lot of meaning into it, and it's launching June 6th. And this event you've been putting together for a bit, in preparation of the launch of this fragrance. Can you tell me a bit about this event and what people could expect there?
Yeah, absolutely. So the event is going to be, again, June 6th, 7 to 10 p.m. at the Andaz Scottsdale Resort. Tickets are on sale. Go to empyreanparfums.com/launch. You'll be able to figure out a little bit more too there about the launch party. But I've been planning it since around December. And I knew I wanted to do something, even the location was all about embodying the elements, right? I wanted to do something that was focused on Mother Earth because we're talking about Gaia.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a fragrance launch. So I wanted to incorporate the senses because a lot of people, they say it's the forgotten sense, the sense of smell.
Yeah.
So the Andaz, which is a Hyatt property, is actually all about getting things from the local area. So all of their food is locally sourced. All of their honey that you get from like the restaurant there, they have a bee farm that's on property. They're really, really big on getting things that are from Arizona.
Yeah.
So I wanted to embody that and even the location. At the event, we're going to have tons of different performances. So each performance is focused on one of the different senses. So there's a tactile performance where people will be able to touch something and experience that. There's going to be the fragrance. So the olfactory performance, which is going to be a fragrance display. We've got a music and auditory performance, which is going to be coming from a DJ. He actually opened up for John Legend.
Wow.
So he's flying in from Houston. He's a good friend of mine. He's going to DJ for us the entire night. We've got a dance floor as well. So if people want to get down, feel free to dance. I was a professional Latin dancer for a little bit of my career.
So he got a little pep in his step, yo.
Yeah, I danced salsa, bachata, merengue, cha-cha. One of my good friends, he goes by Eddie Peligro. He's here in the Valley. His team just won a bachata championship in Mexico.
Nice.
So they're going to be performing as well here in town at the event. And then literally the next day, they fly back to Mexico to go do another performance. So I'm really, really grateful that he's doing that. So that's going to be the visual performance. We'll also have a fire dancer that's walking around. So embodying, again, the element of fire, a visual performance there. So each performance embodies one of the senses. And then the food actually embodies all the elements. So like I
Okay.
said, we're talking about mushroom crostinis for the earth, lobster rolls for the water. We'll have for the air, there's going to be champagne, so kind of bubbles.
Oh yeah.
And then for the fire, there's going to be chicken lollipops, so like barbecue.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So you really have taken the time to make sure each part of this event will add to the experience as a whole. And there's something for everybody, it seems like.
Mhm.
Now, with this, you've already named a couple notable guests. Everyone from the DJ to, the band that you
Mhm.
were just talking about. Now, are there other performers or other things that are going to be there, like as
Yeah.
far as musical entertainment?
There will be. So I mentioned the DJ and I mentioned the dance team. In terms of other guests that are going to be there, Miss Arizona is going to be showing up.
Okay.
So shout out to
All
Miss
right.
Arizona 2024. Sydney is going to be there
Awesome.
representing. I'm super excited. We just talked a few days ago about it. It's going to be a blast. She'll be asking tons of questions, getting to know people. So it's going to be a really good blast for that.
Look, this sounds like just an event you don't want to miss. And he has a fragrance that you're going to want to test out. You brought the fragrance today.
I did.
And what I was blown away by it was, of course, I love the logo. I love the font on it, but the packaging.
Yes.
Can you speak a little bit about the packaging?
Absolutely. So this is the first reveal of the Gaia packaging. I'm only going to show the box. I might take the bottle out. If we do a little sniffing later, I'll take the bottle out. But I'm only going to show the box because we're going to do the full fragrance reveal at the event.
Nice.
But what we've got here, and I think you might be able to see it, is we've got a book. So again, the fragrance is all about telling stories of creation. So the first thing that came to mind is, why don't I actually embody the fragrance in a book?
Yeah.
So the first thing is I did is I went and I published those haiku that I mentioned. I took those haiku. I then put them into a book. I used AI to create images of those haiku and then made that a book that you could pre-purchase as like your pre-purchase gift. So if you buy in advance, if you go on the website right now and you pre-order, you actually get that book.
Hold up 1 second. Hold up. Tell people about the website and where they can go to find out more about all that you have in the offer and get tickets.
Absolutely. So if you wanted to pre-purchase the fragrance, again, it's launching June 6th, 7 to 10 p.m. is the launch party. You can go to empyreanparfums.com/launch, and that's where you'll find the fragrance. That's where you'll find tickets to the event. If you want to buy the fragrance and pre-order the fragrance, that actually gets you VIP entrance to the event.
Nice.
So not only do you get the fragrance, you'll get a ticket to the event. You'll also get one of the rare collections signed of the books that I've written and published. In addition to that, you'll get one of these. So you'll get an actual
awesome.
fragrance that comes with the book packaging.
Nice. That's the complete experience. Go to the website, purchase VIP for the complete experience, and leave with the wonderful packaging that really embodies not only the fragrance, but also his journey through his spiritual journey and him creating haikus about his thoughts, his beliefs, the world, his worldview. And can I get you to speak a little bit about that book? I mean, it's really interesting how it came to be, but speak on the release of that, how what you went through to get it released, and if you might know a haiku or something from there that I don't know, but I'm just interested. That's an amazing thing.
So the haiku definitely all came from, as I mentioned, that journey when I was studying and living in Paris, living in Barcelona, and the book itself. I took each of those haiku and I put them into, I want to say it was either it wasn't Midjourney, it was Bing, actually. So Microsoft's Bing, which is powered by OpenAI.
Yeah.
I fed those haiku in and I, would go over it over and over again until I got the image that really just fit exactly what I was looking for for telling the story of that haiku. So each chapter of the book has maybe 4 or 5 different haiku that tell the story of the fragrance line that's going to be launching, but it tells one chapter for Gaia, one chapter for what's going to be Waira, which is a fragrance about a wind god that's from the Andes. One chapter about Bennu, which is a phoenix. So shout out to Phoenix, Arizona. But it's actually about a fire, obviously a firebird, a phoenix, from Egyptian mythology. Scorched the earth, and from those ashes grew the earth. So you've got a fragrance story about Bennu. There's Dreamtime, which is an Aboriginal story about dreaming and how we dream the realities into existence. And then you've got Legendaire, which is my story. And then, of course, you've got Gaia as well. So Legendaire is the story of me coming back into Christianity. And the last one, which is going to be coming up in the next few releases, is Paloma. So Paloma is going to be the third release, and that's attributed to the divine number of 3. But it's about the Paloma in Spanish means dove. So when the dove came to Noah's Ark, it landed on Noah's Ark, and that was the sign of peace. And that God had reset the land. So
see, look, there's plenty meaning, and there's a lot of detail, intricate thought that went into this product right here. I mean, yo, if you go to the event, I have full confidence that you're going to be blown away. I've seen this man's level of care that he puts into what he does, and it's just been inspiring to me. And I believe anybody, if you're in Arizona, or if you can fly out to Arizona, but if you are in Arizona, this is not only an event you don't want to miss, but the dopest thing about this is that it's supporting us. And it's a great, like, it's not just, hey, I'm doing this to make money. There's a lot more behind it. And it's teaching, it's giving, it's touching the soul.
Yes.
In my mind, that's how I feel about it. But also that event, that's June 6th, which is a wonderful event you're going to want to go to in Scottsdale. That marks like a full weekend that we were doing. Like, I love the fact that, like, it's at the start of a weekend that we were also bringing, like, we're doing the Black Male X, which is an event that's 7th, 8th, and 9th. And that's a conference that's empowering men. It's the Black Male X, and it's for male empowerment. Now, what we are doing is, with that event, this man has been gracious enough to offer us 10 tickets to his event that we can use to help someone start off that weekend right.
Yes.
So, look, we're going to have a giveaway. We're going to get people involved in this whole empowerment weekend, and you can look at his event as the start of it as well. So, look, you heard all that he's putting into it, and you can tell that there's passion behind it. So let's support, let's be there for him as he is here for us, and we are going to definitely enjoy ourselves as we not only go out and check out the new fragrance, but then as we get into a whole weekend of empowering Black males. So look, I thank you for joining us, but before we go, can I get you to, again, I know it's a little redundant, but introduce yourself and let people know how they can connect with you online, and tell them about your website and how they can get tickets to your event.
Absolutely. My name's Ethan Turner. I am the perfumer of Empyrean Parfums, as well as the perfumer for Moi Fragrances, separate brand. If you're interested in buying tickets to the launch party for Empyrean Parfums, it's happening at the Andaz Scottsdale Resort on June 6th from 7 to 10 p.m. You can head to empyreanparfums.com/launch. You can get your tickets there. Or if you go to the website, just empyreanparfums.com, you purchase the fragrance, you'll have VIP entrance there. You just have to go in and pre-order it. Yeah. So, and that also comes with the book, that comes with the goodie bag. There's free champagne at the event. There's free food. It's going to be a blast.
Nice. Well, again, thank you for joining us. And this has been the Black Arizona Podcast. Stay tuned. We're going to bring to you more important guests, and we're definitely going to, bring you entertainment. There's so much more that we are looking to do. Just be sure to like, share, subscribe, do all of those things. Follow us on all of the platforms. You can find us Black Arizona with an A on Instagram, Black Arizona with an extra A on Instagram, Black Arizona on Facebook. Join our group, like our page. Black Arizona is pretty much just a cultural hub, and we're going to keep introducing you to great people you need to meet. But be sure to check out my man Ethan Turner. Be sure to go to the website, get some tickets, and stay tuned, because we're going to give you an opportunity to go to this event. Thank you very much for joining us, and stay tuned.
All right. Thank you all for having me.
You already know, my man.